This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids.
What up, everybody? This your boy Blak Magus, and I'm back to answer another Askfm question that I thought was really good. It's kind of crazy, some of the questions that I get, because some of them are just asinine. I'm sorry to say this. If you've asked a question, don't necessarily assume that I'm talking about you. But with some of these questions, like in the ones that I've answered in some of the previous videos, not the singular topic ones. The singular topic ones like this, I find very good. That's why I do these one-off videos. But when I do like the random stuff, or I tweet it on Twitter, it's just like questions I'm not understanding why y'all are asking some of these questions, like the cheeks thing, pulling your cheeks. What the hell? Anyway, so. This question I got was a good question. I really wanted to answer it on video, because I think it's important for me, as well as probably for some others, to maybe hear my answer. Maybe some people I know, maybe people I don't know, because it's a very interesting question. It's a simple question, but it's very interesting. And the question is, are you a strong person mentally? Now, just as an aside, they didn't put a strong person. They put, are you a strong person mentally? The way we type these days amazes me sometimes, because grammar is becoming so much, distorted with social media. But are you a strong person mentally? Sorry, that's just a pet peeve of mine. It's like when I see grammatical errors, I get mad. I even delete my tweets when I make grammatical errors, because that bothers me to no end. Anyway, I'm rambling. Get to the question. Are you a strong person mentally? At first, when I saw this, I would say yeah, because people have told me this. And that's generally because, for those who don't know me, I go through a lot. There's a lot of like crazy things. Some of it's self-inflicted. Some of it's just luck of the draw. It's like, like a lot of people, I go through a lot of growing pains and, mental anguish and just issues with life. Like adulthood is not the easiest thing in the world. Definitely. And I have so much on my plate, so many things to stress about, so many people that I stress about that, I can understand why people think that I'm mentally tough, because generally speaking, I go about things pretty much as quote unquote normal as I can. I try to always be joking, playful, that guy that you can call and cry on the shoulder. I try to like be kind of the positive force, or the calm in the middle of everyone's storm, while I'm dealing with my own storm. And it's probably good, because sometimes some people around me need to see that, and it helps them out, which I'm all for. But it can be very damaging to yourself to always want to be that person who always doesn't show anything. I think that's one of the things that make me realize that as much as I've been told I'm mentally strong, I don't think that I am. And it's not because I can't necessarily deal with things or handle things, but in the way I handle them. I think I'm still handling things in a very old school manner, which was, especially for black men, the old school manner is to don't show your emotions, don't let them see you crack, always be tough, strong, yada yada yada. That sign of male virilness, and just don't give a fuck because I'm a man and I can handle this shit type of thing. The reason why I say that's wrong is because, and it's especially true for us black men, our emotions are so bottled up and snuffed away, pushed down, that when you get into a situation where your emotions start to surface, you don't know how to handle things. I think I can handle things pretty fairly, but at the same time, I do have my moments where I'm just a total fucking mess. And by not expressing my feelings and not dealing with them head on, a lot of the times I end up just having these moments. Like, I had a couple of moments over the past couple of weeks where I just found myself just fucking crying, like, uncontrollably, because I'm so stressed and I'm so tired, and it's just like, everything just was closing in on me. And I think that happened yesterday or Friday, 2 days from this recording, and it's just like I just snapped. I remember, one of these moments where I'm doing homework and there's a glitch in the software that I'm using to take a test, and I just found myself screaming, and then all of a sudden tears just streaming out, because it wasn't the test that was doing it. It was that all the shit that I'm dealing with, and things like, personally, financially, all of that just came out in that moment, and that thing was the catalyst for that breakdown moment. And that's what usually happens to me. I have these breakdown moments, and I always tend to know when I'm about to have them, because I start to get very, very irritated and frustrated with everything, and it's like I just pop. You know what I mean? It's just like, you see a pipe with a lot of pressure, and it's just like buckling, and it's shaking, and it's just like trying to hold up under, and it's just eventually, boom, just everything explodes from it. That's unfortunately how a lot of things with me happen. Luckily for me, or maybe unluckily, I'm usually alone when these things happen. Sometimes I kind of wish I weren't, because that's another thing. I tend to hide and conceal my feelings away from people who are my friends, family, stuff like that. Because, and I mentioned this in several videos before, I've never really had anybody who I can just go to and just, feel like I can go and talk and just be me and express what I'm feeling without any type of, backlash or, chiding or anything like that. I never had that person in my life, because most people in my family, in my life, were all taught the same way, especially the men. Even the women, though, kind of were taught to suppress feelings. So it's just not been, like, family-wise, no, didn't have that structure. Friends, there are probably people out there who would if I wanted to, but I always feel like I'm being burdensome, because I guess, the way I was raised, it was felt like it was burdensome for me to, I don't know how to say this other than for me or my feelings to really matter. That's just how I always felt. So I kind of ended up in a state where, I go through these struggles. If it's financially and I need some help, I'm not going to ask, because I don't want to ask anybody, because I don't want to be, one, disappointed, and two, feel bad, because there have been people in my life who made me feel bad for needing help, and then it's translating to me personally just feeling ashamed of myself when I need help from someone, when that shouldn't be the case. You know what I mean? It's very weird. So, am I mentally tough? I would say no, because that is not toughness when you think about it. Just closing yourself off, you just, fuck it, I'll do it all myself. It don't necessarily mean that you're a tough person. It probably means I'm stubborn. In some cases, it could mean selfishness, because I'm hiding things from people who may or have real concerns and may want to really come out and help me. It's unhealthy mentally and physically, because your mental health can affect your mental health. A lot of the reason why I was in the hospital last year, because I was so mentally fucked up, I was not caring about myself enough health wise, and I ended up in a bad health situation. So all that, like from the traditional standpoint of mental toughness, it's bullshit. And I think especially us men, and especially us black men, we really need to get over that and learn a new way of handling things, because especially in these days and times, as hectic and crazy as life is, with all the things that are resurfacing and have still persisted, racism, sexism, classism, all this stuff, the financial burdens that we're having now, the way that like things are structured to where like everybody's got to work like half to death to make ends meet and things like that, and the stress and strain of that, and then other personal things that you go through, maybe your medical issues, just all types of stuff, other mental things. It's like, yeah, all that, like, I just, keep it aside, or I just handle it myself, shit, kind of needs to go by the wayside, because you're not building yourself into a better or stronger person. You're building yourself into a person who, at the end of the day, won't necessarily know how to deal with a lot of things once it's time for those emotions to surface, or when there's a moment where you can't just hide it. That I think that's why you get a lot of people who do a lot of like horrible things, like men who do horrible things towards women and things like that, or people who do horrible things towards children, because somewhere along the line they've never really learned how to deal with their own emotions and like stuff and all of that, and it ends up translating. I think that's one of the things I'm fortunate, is that I don't think I'm that person who translate my stuff, but I fear that I may end up being that person. I think that's another reason why I kind of shy away from going to people or relationships, because I don't want to be that dude that's going to like say, with my girlfriend, my wife, and I make her feel miserable. Like, I feel like that's what my father was to my mom, and that's why he did the things he did to her, because he couldn't handle his own shit, so he took it out on her. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy, and I don't want to be that. I think that's another reason why I shy away from people a lot, or like going to people, especially if I go to them and they kind of like don't take me serious, because then it's just like, one, I feel miserable, and then how am I going to react to that? Because there's situations even now, like when people disappoint me, I take disappointment so hard, and it probably shouldn't be that hard. It's like simple disappointments that people probably face all the fucking time, and I know in some cases I take that dead serious. I think I've become the guy who, because of my quote unquote mental toughness, I've become super sensitive. Like, my nerves are kind of raw. Because I feel like I'm at a point now where I'm tired of being that just suck it in and hold it in person, and kind of dealing with how to take care of that is it's an interesting challenge, and it's very interesting to do when you feel like you have to do it by yourself. So yeah, but I have outlets, things that I try to do, like the podcasting, like doing these videos with you guys, listening. Thank you to everybody listening. By the way, thank you to the kind words to the last video, the commentary about life. A flying modem, dude. I hope you're doing so well now. I know back when I was starting to go through my medical thing, you were going through some stuff, and I was surprised to see you. I meant to comment, and I'm sorry I didn't comment, because again, it's like I'm going through a lot of stuff, but I saw it and I appreciated those words. Same thing too. Oh gosh, I forget the other person's name, but they commented on the commentary about life, about me being miserable, and they were saying they appreciate me doing these videos. I'm sorry I forget your name, but I do appreciate that comment. I hope it can help in some way, because I'm trying to help myself, and I'm trying to help others as well. I can never shake that helping other people thing. I feel like that's just too ingrained in my DNA right now, but it's also to help me. But I'm glad if I did anything to help you or anybody else deal with it better, deal with whatever you're going through better, then I have no problem keep doing these videos, because I enjoy doing these for those reasons, in hopes that I could reach other people and heal myself at the same time in some way. But This is kind of my psychotherapy since I can't afford psychotherapy, which is another issue, but that's cool. But yeah, thank you, seriously, from the bottom of my heart. But anyway, that is the answer to are you a strong person mentally? I don't know what you guys think, so as always, feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll hit you later. This your boy Blak Magus, and I'm out. Deuces.